Hi everyone, welcome back to Summer Chillin' Week 3. And as promised, our stories are about frogs today. But first, go ahead and get out your scarf. We're going to put our first scarf song on. So get that CD set up and we can get going. Let's see.
Shake your scarves.
Ready for some shaking and clapping. Scarves up, scarves down. Shake your scarves all around. Scarves up, scarves down. Shake your scarves all around. Scarves in, scarves out. Shake your scarves all about. Scarves in, scarves out. Shake your scarves all about. Right knee, find that knee and cross over. Shake your scarves, fancy free. Right knee, cross in, left knee. Shake your scarves, fancy free. Right hand, left hand. Shake your scarves with the band. Right hand, left hand. Shake your scarves with the band. On your back, on your tummy. Shake your scarves, nice and funny. On your back, on your tummy. Shake your scarves, nice and funny. Scarves up, scarves down. Put your scarves on the ground. We're gonna clap. Very good. And of course, a little bit later, we'll do our egg shaker song. Just put that CD in and we will get to our first story. And this story is In the Pond by Anna Milborn. Let's see, how do frogs grow? Know how they start out? We are going to find out. Down at the pond on a bright spring day, two swans glide gracefully along and ducks turn tail up, dabbing for pondweed. Lots of little jelly eggs are floating in the water. The eggs have tiny blobs inside. What will they become? As the days drift by, the blobs start to grow. They get bigger and bigger. Each one becomes a tadpole. The tadpoles wriggle out of their eggs and squiggle swim away. As the last little tadpole shivers free, a huge, dark shadow looms above. Uh-oh. Suddenly, an enormous fish swishes down. Its toothy jaws gape open, snap! Little tadpole wriggles away just in time. The days grow warmer still, and spring slips into summer. Shimmering dragonflies dart around, and a pond skater tiptoes carefully across the water. Over in the reeds, there's a beep, beep, beep. One by one, 6 fluffy ducklings plop into the pond. They paddle in a bobbing line behind the mother duck. Some stop to stare at butterflies, then rush to catch back up. Under the water, the tadpole is changing. He grows tiny legs at the back and the front. His wriggly tail shrinks and shrinks. Then, before you know it, he's turned into a frog. He hop, hop, hops around exploring the sunlit pond. A teeny tiny fly flies by. Quick as a flash, the hungry frog rolls out his sticky tongue. Oh, glad I don't have to eat flies. With a hop and a splash, he dives back into the cool water. Kicking his wide-webbed froggy feet, he quickly swims away. If you come back to the pond one bright spring day, you might find lots more jelly eggs and the frog all grown up, singing a croaky song. So there are lots of ponds in Alsip in the parks, so you might find some of that wildlife in there, or go to Lake Catherine. That's a beautiful place. Remember, stay with your grown-up, listen to them, and don't go too near the water if you're without your grown-up. So I want to tell you about your art project this week. It's kind of fun. It's the life cycle of the frog, just like in the book. So you'll find blue paper and of course your lily pad. And inside of here, let me put this down for a minute. There's some green tissue paper and pom-poms. So of course you all know the wiggly eyes. That's what I used for the little, show you, for the little frog's eggs, the little wiggly eyes. The tadpoles, you'll have some pom-poms and tissue paper. And all I did was take a piece of tissue paper, put that pom-pom in the middle, wrap it up, and twist it. There you go. And there's your little tadpole. Okay. And of course, if you want to add the flower, lotus to your lily pad, go ahead. And there's some frogs, so you can do your whole frog life cycle. And again, you can put it however you want. I did have some other frogs, but the glue, they just fell off. So there's my life cycle of frogs. Okay, we'll put that aside. And you can do that later. You can stop the video and do it now if you want to. It's really up to you. Our next story is Tad and Dad. I thought I'd read this for Father's Day because that's coming up. Well, actually, it will have passed already. David Ezra Stein. So sorry, dads, I got this a little out of order when I was doing this, but it's still a nice story to read with Dad or Grandpa or your uncle. My dad has big, buggy eyes, strong legs, and a huge mouth. He sings in a loud burp that echoes across the pond, and I love him. As soon as I could wiggle, I swam everywhere with my dad. Dad tried to tuck me in at night, but splash! I followed him to his bed. Why are you in my bed? Said Dad. So you won't miss me, I said. I went to sleep and dreamt that I could swim as fast as Dad. And then I grew legs. Surprise, Dad! That day I reached new heights. Dad tried to tuck me in at night, but splash! I followed him to his bed. That night I dreamt I was the best jumper in the world, like Dad. And then I grew a big mouth and I could sing, "Good morning, Dad." Is it morning already? That day the pond was alive with the sound of music made by me and Dad. Dad tried to tuck me in at night, but splash! It's me, Tad, I said. That night I dreamt I could sing as loud as Dad. And then I grew really big and I was very hungry. Hi, Dad, what's for breakfast? That day we helped ourselves to a feast. Dad tried to tuck me in at night, but sploosh! He's quite a bit bigger now. Tad, said Dad, when you jump in my bed, I can't sleep because you're always wiggling and poking and kicking and croaking. I didn't know that, I said. Why do you want to sleep in my bed? Said Dad. Are you trying to drive me bananas? I'm sorry, Dad, but don't worry. I don't want to sleep in your bed anymore anyway. You snore. How can I snore when I don't even sleep? Said Dad. Good night, Dad, I said. For the first time, I swam away from Dad. Said Dad. Peace at last. I tried to go to sleep, but I heard a big hubbub. Someone huge was splashing around. Frog-gone it, said a loud voice. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Dad. He was wiggling and poking and kicking and croaking. He was splashing around and making a big ruckus. What's wrong, Dad? I said. I still can't sleep. I think I know what you need, Dad. A little company, I said. Is that better, Dad? Maybe better, he said. Soon Dad was fast asleep. I was right. I knew he would miss me. It's just a nice story about dads and their little ones. You ready for your shaker egg? So let's get out our shaker egg and renew our shaker egg song. Remember, when it comes to the part of stamping your feet, you have to go a little bit softer, especially if you have somebody living below you, okay?
Let's all shake our shaker eggs. Let's all shake our shaker eggs. Let's all shake our shaker eggs. Let's shake them all day long. Now let's all stomp our feet. Let's all stomp our feet. Let's all stomp our feet. Let's stomp them all day long. Now let's all jump up and down. Let's all jump up and down. Let's all jump up and down, jump up and down all day long. Shake your shakers up high, shake your shakers down low. Shake your shakers real fast, shake your shakers real slow. Shake your shakers real loud, shake your shakers real low. Just shake them all day long. Let's all shake our shaker eggs. Let's all shake our shaker eggs. Let's all shake our shaker eggs. Let's shake them all day long. Now let's all stomp our feet. Let's all stomp our feet. Let's all stomp our feet. Let's stomp them all day long. Now let's all jump up and down. Let's all jump up and down. Let's all jump up and down. Jump up and down all day long. Shake your shakers up high. Shake your shakers down low. Shake your shakers real fast. Shake your shakers real slow. Shake your shakers real loud. Shake them all day long. Let's all shake our shaker eggs. Let's all shake our shaker eggs. Let's all shake our shaker eggs. Let's shake them all day long. Now let's all shake our bodies. Let's all shake our bodies. Let's all shake our bodies. Let's shake them all day long. Let's shake them all day long. Let's shake them all day long. Woo-hoo! Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Put our shaker eggs away until next week. You can still play your shaker eggs during the week without me. You can watch the video over. It's up to you. Okay, we have time for one more story. We still haven't done our flannel board yet, but we'll get to that. So we did a mom and baby story. I mean, a daddy and little frog story. So it's mommy and froggy story. So We Fine As We Are by Algie Craig Hall. Let's see. Little Frog and his mom lived by the pond. Just the two of them. They were very happy. Little Frog spent his days playing. His favorite game was leapfrog, but he played it all alone. One day, Mama asked Little Frog, "Would you like a baby brother or sister?" And little frog answered, "No, we're fine as we are." But then little frog noticed some strange things in the pond. At first, the strange little things were just blobs with black spots. Then later, the blobs with black spots became even stranger. They grew little squiggly tails and started swimming around. After a while, the little squiggly swimming things changed into tiny frog babies. And there were lots and lots of them. Little frog was worried. The frog babies grew. Suddenly they were leaping everywhere and making a lot of noise. Little frog thought this was awful. Mom looked very pleased, so little frog didn't mind too much at first. But then the frog babies became very annoying. They followed little frog wherever he went, into the pond, onto the lily pads. If he chased a fish, so did they. Where little frog played, so did they. Little frog couldn't get a minute to himself. Little frog complained to Mom. "They are your brothers and sisters," said Mom. "They only want to be like you." "But it's not fair," said little frog. "They won't leave me alone." But Mom couldn't hear little frog because of all the noise his brothers and sisters were making. That night, when all his brothers and sisters were fast asleep, little frog cuddled up to Mom. "I like it when it's just the two of us," said little frog. "So do I," said Mom. "But your brothers and sisters just want to be like you. Why don't you try playing games with them?" The next morning, little frog saw something nice to eat for breakfast. But the babies got there first. Enough was enough. "Stop!" shouted little frog. And they did. All the babies looked at little frog in silence. That gave little frog a big idea. Little frog organized the frog babies into one long line. Little frog leaped into the air. Then all the babies leaped into the air. Little frog stuck out his tongue. Then all the babies stuck out their tongues. Little frog said, "Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit." Then all the babies said, "Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit." Little frog began to enjoy playing with his brothers and sisters. He taught them his favorite game, leapfrog, and they played leapfrog all day long. They had so much fun. Little frog and his brothers and sisters arrived home excited, noisy, and tired. Little frog helped Mom get all the babies ready for bed. "We're the biggest family in the world," said little frog. "Do you think we're too big?" asked Mom. "No," said little frog. "We're just fine as we are." So whether you have siblings or you have lots of cousins, family is something special, isn't it? Okay, so it is time for our flannel board at last. So you go ahead and put your froggies on the log. And this is 5 Green and Speckled Frogs. It's a song, it's also a book, so if you want to sing it with me, that would be wonderful. So if you have your 5 frogs on there, and then let's see what happens. Are you ready? 5 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Then there were 4 green speckled frogs. 4 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there were 3 green speckled frogs. 3 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Then there were 2 green speckled frogs. 2 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Then there was 1 green speckled frog. 1 green and speckled frog sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. It jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are no green speckled frogs. Good job, everybody. Can put that aside. Let's see, you also have your frog bibliography. This is from tadpoles to frogs, so there might be tadpole stories, frog stories, and there's a on the back there's some stories about how frogs actually grow. So that's called nonfiction. So those are real informational books. And this week, Frogs on a Log. Of course, they're not real frogs. It's celery and cream cheese, or you can use peanut butter, and you can have grapes or olives for your frogs. Okay, remember, if you're going to use a knife, make sure your grown-up is with you, okay? Never take those out of the drawer or get those utensils without having them with you. Okay, we're going to put our final scarf song on, so get your scarf out again. And next week's stories, I'm trying to remember what next week's stories are about. Art. So please join me next week. In the meantime, enjoy the summer. Hopefully you'll be able to go to the park or the pond and see what's out there. Okay, let's put our scarf song on. Let's forward to the right song. And we can go. Remember, always listen to Mom and Dad because they love you.
Scarves
Your grandma
up
and grandpa.
down and around. The scarves are softly flowing, left, right, left. The scarves are softly flowing, left, right, left. Up and down and around, up and down and around, up and down, up and down, up and down and around. The scarves are softly floating, release them up in the air. Catch! The scarves are softly floating, release them up in the air. Catch! Up and down and around, up and down and around, up and down, up and down, up and down and around. Release them up in the air. Watch them float to the ground. Release them up in the air. Watch them float to the ground. Sing it. Up and down and around, up and down and around, up and down, up and down, up and down and around. The scarves are softly flowing, left, right, left. The scarves are softly flowing, left, right, left. Up and down and around, up and down and around, up and down, up and down, up and down and around. The scarves are softly floating, release them up in the air. Catch! The scarves are softly floating, release them up in the air. Catch! Up and down and around, up and down and around, up and down, up and float to the ground. Up and down and around. Up and down and around. Up and down, up and down, up and down and around. Up and down, up and down, up and down and around.
Very nice. Well, thanks for joining me, my little friends. Don't forget to come to the library or call up and get those this week's prizes. My earbud just fell out. And hopefully we'll see you at the library. Until next week, take care. Bye-bye.